We're being visited by Storm Aileen today, and it's gusty and it's windy and it's very, very wet, and we're likely to have winds of up to 75 miles an hour today, and the rain is fairly heavy, and that would be a blissful understatement. And Mr. J's out at work today, and sometimes I think he has a fabulous job, and the sense of community is lovely. But in weather like this, being a postman is a tough job. Well, while it's still so blowy and rainy outside, I've been in the kitchen most of the morning, and I've been chopping and preparing and storing in various different ways today's harvest, which is, here's my little list. 3¼ pounds of marrows and 12 pounds of apples, and I've used all of those to go into buckets to make some more wine, and all the cores and the peelings have all been used in the bucket that is making the apple cider vinegar, and what a success that's been. So this is its 5th day now, and it's bubbling away, and I followed a recipe I found online. It's very simple and it uses all the cores and peelings. Perfect. And it already smells like apple cider vinegar, so I should imagine in 6 weeks' time, when it's fully fermented, it's going to be fabulous, and I'll be bottling it up and storing it away for the chickens and for us. And here's pretty much the same view 3 hours later. The ground is bone dry, the sun is out, and it is still quite windy. It's probably, I don't know, 25 miles an hour. It's quite blowy. I don't know how much you can hear me. I've hidden my microphone, but you know, the wind is the wind. It can get through your clothes as well. So unbelievable. It's actually quite warm out here, and I came out this morning and had a look to see what damage the storm overnight had done. The ducks area is looking a bit muddy, to say the least, but actually they're really happy when it's muddy, and they are pretty much all hunkered down out of the wind over there. Smart ducks. So, quick wind damage report. I am amazed at how little damage there is. We can start off with in this corner of the fence. Well, the wind's broken one of the plastic ties holding it together. Well, that's no great shakes, and it's blown my hoop at a slightly odd angle. Still no great shakes. I'm not challenging the wind here to do more damage. I'm just deeply grateful that it's not done more. The Greek gigantes beans are, well, they are now at the jauntiest of jaunty angles. I don't think they can get much flatter without actually lying down now. And the guy ropes I had trying to hold them up, well, they're doing the best they can, and at the moment the plants aren't actually being pulled out of the ground here, but it won't be long. And as yet, not all the beans are ripe. In fact, there aren't very many that are completely ripe. This would make a fantastic hedge though, wouldn't it? So yeah, we've got plenty of pods, but the beans in them aren't ripe as yet. So I need these plants to stay upright, or as upright as they already are, for a little bit longer. Yeah, it looks like the corn over there has been flattened. This was baby corn, and I will have a look and see. I will have a look and see how they are doing in there, but I suspect we've lost this crop. That doesn't matter. I'm trying to stay as upbeat and philosophical as I can, given that I have already harvested such a huge amount of food. Everything from here on is really, it really is a bonus, and you know, there was no structural damage to the house or to any of our fencing or to the outbuildings, and you know, I can only be grateful for all of that. The runner beans, which were starting to fall over in much milder winds than this, are not looking. They're not looking too bad at all. And the only thing left for these beans to do now is to produce some seeds. As long as a few of these very long pods make some seeds, that'll be okay. Everything in all of the brassica tunnels looks okay, and I suspect that netting has actually protected it from the wind a little bit. The chickens are choosing to be out, and there's nothing stopping them going in, so they seem to be quite happy to be out. Although, first sign of rain and they'll run back inside. Here's White, who's very sensibly sheltering from the winds there. So all in all, I'm really grateful that everything has held up to Aileen, and next thing I'm going to do is get a bit more windproofing fabric up there. I've managed to get another layer of this windbreak fabric up, so the top half there, and I just very simply joined it with cable ties onto the piece that was at the bottom and fixed it to the chicken wire across the top, the chicken wire at the sides, and then I've also put a new panel of it in here. In fact, it's a double layer there, because it just gets so windy here. Because we don't need it completely windproof in here, the air needs to be able to flow through the building, so I can't put a solid front on it, but I can reduce the amount of battering wind that comes in here rather sensibly. The 4 little 9-week-old, I was about to say 8 weeks, but no, they're 9-week-old now, Jersey Giants have found a reasonably draft-proof place and settled down for an afternoon snooze. And my next task is to tackle the lock on this door. I put this on, I can't remember, I put this on in December last year, while I threw the front of this up together in a mad rush, and it's been like this ever since. But you know, reality is this is not secure enough for the door to the palace, so it's got a lock there and a piece of cable tie and a hook there, and that's just not enough. So I need to put a lock either going across or going down into that there. And this has been so temporary, and I'm sure you know how easy it is for something that's intended to be very temporary to become permanent rather quickly. So now is the time for me to get this sorted out, because all this sorting out is part of my getting ready for lockdown again this year, and I would really like to get the palace and its run completely wild bird proof. Well, you know, I can't actually encase it in steel, but as wild bird proof as I can, so that these birds can be out here during the winter period when they have to be under cover. And as it's still dry, if somewhat blowy, I'm going to carry on building the frame for the netting to go over in the run that's attached to the palace for Big White and his girls, and actually that's going to be some, well, for me, quite serious building work, because that means using wood that's about a 2x4 and that's probably double the thickness that I usually use. So it's all very what I can cope with, and luckily, and I'm going to have to touch wood on this one, so far it has held up to the wind. I'm going to carry on with this and see how much I can get done today. So wherever you are in the world and whatever you're up to today, I hope the weather's being kind to you, and I also hope you can join me again tomorrow.